More schools in Wales are in the top category of the Welsh Government's rating system. 425 primary and secondary schools are now in the top green band. That's up from 238 schools since the system was set up in 2014, an increase of nearly 80%. And there are 46 schools in the red category, schools that need the most improvement. That's down from 81 2 years ago, a decrease of 43%. Well, all this comes, of course, despite recent criticism of the quality of teaching here and Wales still lagging behind in those international PISA tests. Paul Martin reports.
These children at St Monica's Primary in Cardiff are used to being rated. If they behave well, their name goes on the green section of this chart. And it's good to be green in Wales's school colour coding system too. There are no school league tables here, but since 2014, every school has been given a colour. Green for the best performers. They're given the most autonomy. Then there's yellow, then amber, and then red. The red category is for schools whose performance is declining and are deemed to need the most external support. St Monica's has just become a yellow, up from amber last year. But the head has reservations about the system.
It's really hard to try and make comparable judgments between schools because schools are so diverse. It does feel like a name and shame, I'm sure, for some schools. It felt horrible for me last year, being an amber school, having come in and suddenly being in my eyes, being felt as being downgraded.
The counter-argument, the need for accountability and for parents to know what's going on at their local school.
I think it has its advantages because you can immediately see what schools need more work. But also it has its disadvantages because I think it generalises schools.
I'm a teaching assistant and I have children in the school. I've recently moved house and I did use the colour coding system to have a look and to give me guidance. But actually I got a bit locked into it and then I realised that it wasn't the whole picture.
In Swansea, Pontllew Primary is a yellow too, for the third year running.
Make it catchy. What are you going to make catchy?
The feeling there is a school's intake often limits it to a specific category.
We'll never ever be a green school, even though we work as hard as we can and our pupils achieve really, really well. This is only one measure, and I think sometimes parents don't always get that right message, that there are many different ways that a school is measured in terms of its progress and in terms of what it offers to all of its pupils.
According to today's data, more and more schools are climbing the ladder. But with recent disappointing results in the international comparison PISA tests and last week's assessment from the Inspectorate describing teaching in Wales as weak, it may come as a surprise to the casual observer of Welsh education that there isn't more red than green. In fact, there's been an increase in the number of schools in the green category among both primaries and secondaries. And since 2014, when the system began, there's now been an increase of nearly 80% in the number of schools rated green. I asked the Education Secretary how that's happened.
Our school categorisation system is there to identify those schools which do need more support. So it's very good news that we've got more schools moving into green and yellow categorisation. But it also means that we can then focus our resources and our support on those schools that need it the most so we can bring those schools forward too.
The Welsh Government has always insisted this system doesn't grade schools in the way that league tables used to. But that doesn't mean questions over the system and its significance will go away.
Paul, what will parents watching tonight take from this latest report?
Well, Jamie, there's lots of big picture information out there on the Welsh Education Service for parents to wade through, not least last year's PISA international comparison tests, which made pretty grim reading from a Welsh perspective. What today's colour coding tries to do is give parents some small picture information, direct info on their local school. But the Conservatives were quick to make the link today between those negative big picture stories and the image presented today of more and more schools going into the top green category, and said that that can't really be an accurate picture. Now, many teachers feel that the colour coding system is too simplistic and doesn't give a fair, full representation of how a school is performing. And I don't think the Cabinet Secretary, Kirsty Williams, would necessarily disagree with that. But what she does stress is that it's a simple way of giving parents information, empowering parents to know more about how their local school is performing. She did, however, say if there's a better way of doing that, she wouldn't be against changing the system in the future.
Paul Martin, thank you.